44.95. Do you remember World War II?
Oh yeah.
This is a year older than you. What do you think about the U.S. right now compared to all the years you've seen?
That is the fanciest Cincinnati that was built.
It's just second nature at this point. Did you know any Indians?
Oh yeah.
This is you with the accordion.
And that's one of the biggest movie stars in the United States.
Do you have any regrets with anything in your long life?
They killed 75 of them.
75 cows? Is there anything you'd like to do that you haven't done?
Oh,
John, whose grave is this?
it's interesting for me to go back to see where I have been in my life.
Good morning, guys. Here in beautiful Montana. And I've been at this mission for 3 days. 3 days to find a certain person. And that person is John. He's 95 years old and quite possibly is the oldest cowboy in the world. We're gonna go down this road here, go to his ranch, and talk to him about what it's been like to live on the same property 95 years, what ranching life is like, and whatever else we can get into. Let's do this. You killed the cows.
They took and put stuff on the road. They killed 75 of them.
75 cows?
Yeah,
Who killed them?
the county.
Why?
Well, they put sealer on the road. I could show you out here going up to West Boulder.
You're getting rid of these weeds?
Yeah.
How's that going?
Somebody had them on their vehicle, taking the whole country over.
John, you've lived here your whole life?
Yes,
95 years?
yes.
Wow.
Except we lived up above.
Oh, up there?
Up there when the road was there till they changed the road down here. And old house, that is about the oldest building now. It was built out of the big fire in the turn of the century. We lived in it till we started this house in 47 when they changed the road, and then we moved in about 48.
Do you remember World War II?
Oh yeah, my dad was in World War I. He wasn't even a citizen. And 2 weeks from the time he left here, he was in France.
From where? Where's your father from?
He came from originally in 1915 from Norway. See, the grass is growing, so I'll have to start haying pretty soon.
You gonna hay this grass?
Oh yeah.
John, do you have any help out here?
Well, there is a young guy and the neighbor next to me.
Okay.
And he was crippled up, so he couldn't do nothing last year, the one next door.
Okay.
But he's feeling better, so he's going to try to help me hay. It is a very serious situation.
What's that, religion?
Yeah.
Are you a religious person?
No.
Okay. What do you believe in?
I believe in is if you wanted to go to town and walk down the street, I always intend to keep things straight so it would be sociable. And if I want to be, that things would be right, that I had a right to walk down the street in the towns.
So just be respectful to people.
Yeah,
That's your
sure.
religion.
What they want to do, that's their business.
You got an old International out there.
But,
An old International.
yeah.
Some classics.
Yeah, I do have an international tractor up here the same age as I am. And I have one, a 1020, the smaller one. It is a year older than I am.
Can we see it? Is
Yeah.
it okay? So you were saying you never got married, huh?
No.
Why not?
Not
many ladies out here, probably.
There is stuff that was supposed to come to South Carolina, but she hasn't showed up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I did put out 1,000 and some bales by myself last year.
So this is your car collection.
Yeah, I've got my original 60 Chevy car is in the shed. And the first one I had was a 40 Chevy car. And when the guy shot himself, the first time I ever drove a car out of the yard, I started Livingston with him.
Wait, he shot himself?
Yeah, he was doing the stunt that you sit on a saddle horse and shoot off of it. And he used a revolver. I could show you, but it's quite a ways to go.
Living so far from everything and out here for so long, do you follow what's going on in the country?
I also follow the political end.
You do?
I do.
What do you think about the U.S. right now compared to all the years you've seen?
We're very lucky we're not in a civil war.
You think we're lucky we're not in a civil war?
Yeah.
Okay. You think there's division?
It is as close as you could get it with the stuff.
So what is the biggest challenge living out here? What is your biggest challenge?
Well, the biggest trouble is I heat with wood.
Okay.
And I do have electric heater in the house, but I heat with wood. You ought to seen them, these people that built these $1.5 million houses, and they happened stormed, and they didn't have any heat or anything. It was 22 above, but it could have been a lot worse because 3 days later it went to 22 below.
What do you mean they didn't have heat? Why didn't they have heat?
Well, they had no way with the newfangled way when you lost electricity.
Oh, okay. So you do it the old school way with wood, and yours.
So it was just poke more wood in the stove. But the biggest thing was to go from 145 cows and then go down, and the next year you had 2 calves in place of 145 calves.
Why did it go down so much?
Well, because the cows, they killed them. It's that water that the county put onto the county road to improve it.
Oh, they put water with chemicals on the road or something?
Yeah.
To improve it, and they killed your cows?
Sure. It killed all the fish in the West Boulder River. There's no use to having a fishing license. There used to be so many whitefish when we lived up above, and that there wasn't room for them in March when the ice went out for them to swim. There is a tractor that's a year older than me.
This is a year older than you. Wow.
That tractor, you might not believe it, but I could go and put some gas in it, and you could crank it, and that tractor will start.
This will start?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. And that tractor is 96 years old. There is the tractor, the same age as I am.
This one's the same age as you.
That's the tractor. I should have put it in the shed.
John, when's the last time you were on a horse?
Oh, that's quite a few years ago because they got rid of the horses.
Who got rid of the horses?
Dad and so we got rid of the horses and went to machinery and placed a hand with horses mowing and all that kind of stuff. These sheds, I built them. Actually, that was the shed. We first had sheep, and we got rid of the sheep and then got the cattle.
Nice craftsmanship. You've built everything here.
Yeah, except the house. See, the Indians were here years ago when they run the Indians out of here.
Did you know any Indians?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have friends?
Oh, yeah, sure. You had the friends of the Indians and the chief of the whole works.
What tribe?
Well, that would be the Crow. That's down by Hardin. They were here and moved them out of here when I was little.
When you were little, they moved the Crows out of here?
Yeah. And they lived on this land, and then they lived on the other place I have toward Livingston. And if you go into the hayfields and plow and disc it up, you'll find the arrowheads and also some here. It is what you made your life of to do when you was growing up and you seen what it was.
What do you mean by that? Like, you can make the life you want?
Yeah. And you had the freedom to do. And then my dad wasn't the guy. He bought new cars. Well, if he had the money, always pay for it, but to get it. And sheep, what he had when sheep got killed or something happened to them and poison or other the weather or something. But you still had to keep going.
Do you get lonely out here? Is it lonely out here for you or no?
No, it's between the weather and what's showing up every day.
What do you think the best years were in America? You were born in 1927. It's 2022. What do you think were the best years in the country?
It has been quite complicated every year.
Okay.
But like it was in the foreign countries, it was much worse. I'd say the 50s was pretty good, and it was quite a bit improved when the rest of them come to this country in 1909, the first one, next one 1910, 1911, 1915, and 1927. The people come from Norway.
It improved the country.
What?
You said it improved the country when the people came?
Well, they worked and done. The people have to raise stock or stuff to eat. They would have to do something what the older ones had to do to keep going when they were, many years ago. It doesn't come right onto there without doing some old-fashioned work.
Eat a good breakfast?
Yeah, I was supposed to have some loaves of bread, but they didn't come this last week, so I didn't have any bread, but I had cereal.
Who brings all your food here? How do you get your food?
Well, the other people have been bringing the food lately.
So you got good neighbors helping you out?
Yeah, this guy, he was supposed to be in the mail today too, and thing, but he hasn't showed up. The guy that fed the cows all winter.
Okay. He feeds them. Where are your cows?
What?
Where are your cows?
They're out in that pasture there.
Okay, who watches the cows now? Who's cowboying out there?
Well, the other neighbor down here, Dick and Kathy, they got a four-wheeler and they spend their time driving around looking and trying to keep them out of the hayfields.
Do you miss being a cowboy out there, herding the cattle? Do you miss that?
Well, you used to be.
Do you miss it now? Or you're glad it's done?
Sure. See that if they capped and they made it and everything. I think I probably got about 16 calves this year.
16
I did
calves.
get one little heifer calf that shouldn't. One of them tried to calf and they lost her. Maybe if he'd have come, I could have taken the truck and taken her to the veterinary, but I don't know.
You got that truck in 1953. You're asking me how many miles you have on it?
Yeah.
Either a lot or a little. I don't know.
Well, just guess how many miles.
53. I'm gonna 500,000 miles.
Well, I put 100,386 miles on that truck. And
Since
driving,
the 50s.
going to Billings, and as far as White Sulphur, and the Bozeman, and between the other place hauling the hay.
That's your collection of walking sticks?
There's some of it. I had some better ones, but they run away.
They ran away? Oh, that's how you start the fires, the baler twine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And newspapers. You can kick the center switch.
There we go.
Okay, shut the door up to the house. Don't come in. The house is kind of a mess.
Oh, that's all right. Who is this fine young lady that signed the poster over here to the left?
Well, she used to be around in Livingston and traveling and stuff, but she did sign it. And then here's where I sleep.
Okay.
And there is the fanciest organ they make. That one's the late model, and it's got other instruments in it when you play it.
You used to play accordion?
Yeah. I haven't played since I was hernia operation.
But you used to be good at accordion, playing the accordion?
Yeah.
You were really
Played
good?
everything imaginable.
Oh, wow.
I also did play the violin once when nobody was going to play it, and then I played the fancy set of drums too.
Is this one you, this picture?
Yeah, that's my dad's accordion too I was playing.
Oh, okay. What were your best years? When you were in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s? What were your best years?
I don't know. It's been quite interesting all my life.
Okay, what's been the most interesting part of your life?
Well, it's everything from one day to the next.
Okay. So you never get bored?
No.
Prophet Museum that comes to life before your eyes.
You want to see the hat? When I traveled in the foreign countries, the fancy Stetson hat they built.
Yes. Oh, there you go. That's your favorite hat?
That is the fanciest Stetson hat that was built.
Where'd you have that done?
I happened to get it, and it was short to band around here, so I got it for little or nothing, and I wore it in all my trips to all the foreign countries.
Did people like it abroad?
Well, I guess so. But you see, I didn't go out in bad weather. That was gone on it, and I had a leather one, and I put on in place of it. But like it is, I've taken very good care of it.
Who are these people?
That's actually my sister and her husband and me. See, I was wearing that hat here too.
Your sister's still alive?
No, she lived to 66.
Oh, wow. You miss
And
her?
my grandfather lived to 66. My dad lived to 66. And my grandfather lived to 66. And I'm still going at 95.
Why do you think you're still going and everyone passed away sooner?
I really don't know what's going to go. Whether I might make 100, I don't know.
Do you want to make 100?
Well,
is that the goal?
Sure, it'd be kind of interesting to see if you could make it.
John, what would you like to do? Is there anything you'd like to do that you haven't done?
Oh, I still like to see if the sun comes up in the morning and sets in the evening, and to see the snow ain't too deep so you could go outside.
This is you with the accordion, yeah?
Yeah, and that's Patricia Arquette, one of the biggest movie stars in the United States.
It looked like she liked being next to you.
And she was holding my hand and pretend she had a cigarette.
She's beautiful, huh?
Yeah, and that's my fancy accordion that's in the box here and the stuff. And that thing in Germany was only 6,000 and something.
This is you too?
Yeah, there is me too again. It should be washed off so you can see it.
Are these your parents right here?
That's my parents, and that's my grandparents over there when they got married.
Your grandparents from Norway.
Nothing you need to do. It's not a bill. You don't owe any money. They changed your account numbers. You don't need to do a thing. This is a nothing. You can burn it.
Okay.
Fire starter. So you help John out with his mail and food and that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
He still gets on the tractor.
He absolutely still gets on that tractor, and he gets on it very well. And once he is up there, he is the king of
This
the
tractor.
West. That tractor.
The king of the West after he gets up there.
Totally. And away he goes.
How long have you known John for?
Close to 50 years.
Oh, wow.
'Cause I live up the valley up there.
Okay.
And for the first 25 years or so, I just knew he was down here. And then we started helping a little bit and do a little more and do a little more. And then eventually, I had been helping him do all his hay. And then we would split up some hay and divide it up.
It's just second nature at this point.
No safety gear. No overprotection.
You did that with such ease, John. Like a mountain climber. You feel like the king of the world when you get up there?
Huh?
You feel like the king of the world when you get up there?
Yeah.
I'm gathering it's all about tractor, right?
It's mobility. And
It's-
he's still got a driver's license.
Are you still driving, John? We don't have to have this on the
Not
camera.
that he was going to admit to any of us. But anyway, no, I don't think so. But he went down and Sweetgrass County gave him a year's extension on his driver's license. Even though the driver's examiner told him he couldn't see the road or the road signs.
John, do you like to listen to others, younger people telling you what to do?
Well, it's okay to see, but I modified this tractor where it didn't have it, so I have live hydraulics on it for the loader where it didn't have it. You see, you put that gadget there on, and this one has a distributor on it, where the other ones have a mag.
It's a flux capacitor. You don't like seatbelts? Yeah, this thing, it just beeps if you don't put it on. You got it? There you go.
See, I do know what to do with it. There's the coal mine hill. There was a mine for coal, but the guy dug and he was late for supper when he fell on it. And he was late getting in, so he quit digging. But I never did go across and look and see where the coal mine actually was. Here is part of my cows that I have left. This is the road they put it on and killed 70 of them. You see here, they're building up stuff, eyesore.
They built
That's
an
what I
eyesore?
call it. I've been in that one when the other ones owned it, but I never been in with this syndicate that's got the land next to me. Just look at this hell of a thing for a county road. Ain't that a beautiful mess?
What year was the worst, the county road?
Well, I'd say right now.
Right now, okay.
See, it's about here is where John lives. That guy that come down there with to the place to see me.
He's a good neighbor, huh?
What?
He's a good neighbor.
Oh yeah.
How do you...
I don't know, for some reason he's helped me out a lot. He come from here and fed the cows every day. He took and helped me hay too last summer.
What do you remember about World War II?
Well, I was under a physical debut, and with my dad in the shape where he was in World War I, and the stuff I wrote down square, why you didn't take me, but I had to fill out a legal form of everything what I thought from the time I was born. And Eisenhower was president at that time, and he told me the best place for me was to stay. Here used to be the old ranger station cabin. Reed used to have it, and you went when I was about 3 years old.
Wow, so that was built in the early 20s.
Yeah, there's part of another building that fell down too.
What was that building?
Well, the other ones lived in it.
You knew who lived in there?
Yeah.
You miss the old days at all or no?
Well, it's just something to see where you've been.
Do you have any regrets with anything in your long life,
Well,
John?
a person shouldn't. I'm still looking around yet.
You keep
The only thing I did wrong that I didn't sit down and rest in a few minutes where I was feeling as bad as I could be. Now, hell, I feel pretty good.
Your only regret is not resting when you felt a little tired?
Well, like it is, it's sitting and get to go out and see where I have traveled and walked and rode horseback and everything to do. It's interesting for me to go back to see where I have been in my life.
So going
and to read about it too.
So to go on this little trip today we're on, it's good to look back.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see what little difference there is.
This is where you first lived?
Yeah, moved out of here in 46. See, they took land to me here too.
What do you mean they took land
They
from
used to have a cellar there, and the house used to be here, where the bumps are.
This is where your house was growing up?
Yeah, the one part of it is across the river. And see, they just built that eyesore there. And here is the cellar. And the cows walked in. You used to have a garage to put the cars in over here for a car and other stuff right on the ridge. And then here is where I went fishing and everything. And then across the river, we own that land. I own it now.
So this was never your land where this house is or where that house?
But the part of that house is my land.
Really?
And the original county road went through the bridge over there too.
You don't feel good about the new homes coming in?
Well, what the hell? I wouldn't do anything. That house is worthless in my estimation. And then the worst of it is, it didn't have no ceiling in that house. And Christ, look what it would cost to heat that damn thing.
John, whose grave is this? The cross?
Yeah, that's the thing. They put a monument there for him. He is not buried there, but that's what they put for memory of passing away up here.
Someone you knew passed away?
Yeah.
And your parents are their
Yeah,
burial
you
sites
can
up
see
there?
one of the iron posts where it's fenced up there.
That's where your parents are buried?
You can see it right on the ridge where my folks was buried. My mother didn't want cremation, but my dad did. And then he was, you know, he was burned, but she was full body.
When the time comes, do you want to be buried next to him?
Yes, there's room up there where the fence is there, and I figured I should take the tractor and a shovel and a crowbar and a pick and start and dig a hole.
$44.95.
Yeah, okay.
You're doing way better on the hair front than I am.
Yeah, so I still not bald-headed.
Thank you, sir.
So, well, your hands is cold.
It's cold up here.
But what's the matter? My hands is warmer than
You are.
yours.
You're very warm. All right, John.
Yeah. Nice to see you, and have a safe trip back into Livingston
Appreciate it.
and to where you live.
Thank you. And you take care of yourself.
I'll try to do the best I can. I'm failing, but we'll see what happens.
Once you get the brakes good, you're going to be on the tractor when? Next week?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Here we are, guys, back to where we started, full circle. Bit of a hero's journey today. It was like going into a completely different time period. Few things I want to close up on here, a few points. One, it's just an amazing experience to be with someone that's lived for that long. I've never had that experience. And just to think through, you know, he was almost in his 20s when World War II was ended. Just such a amazing, long-lived life, really tied in and connected to the land. I love that he said he's never been bored. Every day is interesting and exciting. I think there's a lot to take away from that. No matter what age anyone is at, you can still live with that mindset. Even though he can't move around so easily, as we saw. The one exception was getting on the tractor. That was amazing. He was going inch by inch until it, you know, the tractor came in front of him, and then he just went vertical up it relatively quickly. So thanks for coming along on that journey, guys. I also want to mention this is part of a greater rancher and cowboy series in America, starting in West Texas, all the way up here to Montana. Check out my other videos on the topic. And also I have a mailing list. I would love you to be part of it. All sorts of free information pertaining to the content. There's a link here, something you can click on the screen, or a link down below. Thanks for coming along. Until the next one.